This is Brian Trifon of Trifonic, and I'm going to continue on talking about the bass patch, and now talk about layering a couple different instances of it. One concept that I sort of learned from drum and bass production is layering different bass sounds. So oftentimes, if you listen to drum and bass music, there'll be a sine wave that's doubling the main bass sound, so it's happening beneath it, because usually the main bass sound that you perceive is high pass filtered, and it's mainly you're hearing sort of the mid-range and higher frequencies, but then when it's doubled with a sine wave, it's just this massive sound. So if you listen to Noisia or Calex or TB, and they've got these awesome bass sounds, they're multi-layered. It's it's usually a few different layers coming together to make a giant sound. So what I can do that, this is sort of a funny little trick. So I can just copy this patch here, and I'm going to open up a new EXS24 on another instrument track. So do that here, and paste. So it's just the same settings that I had, but what I'm going to do instead of having the instrument here is I'm going to set this to no instrument. So when I set it to no instrument, it's just going to generate a sine wave, but notice it kept all my modulation settings. So I still have the filter on, I have the filter drive that's sort of saturating the sound a bit, but it's just going to be a sine wave going through that. So now when I listen to that, I can tell that this is playing back an octave higher than my other patch. So I'm going to offset the tuning here to -12 so that they're playing in the same octave. So now I have a wobbly, overdriven sine that doubles the same pattern, and that way I can get the more solid low end and layer this with that wobbly bass part. So that's actually what I did in the little example. I've got this sine double here, so I'll solo both these, and then I've got the wobbly one. So those together are so, and then if I just play it, the sine part alone, and if you aren't listening with a subwoofer or big speakers, you might not really be able to hear that, but it makes a big difference. And as you can tell here, that the bass line is split more or less into two parts. I mean, it's actually three if you count the sine double, but basically there's two melodic parts. I've got this one track where it's the filter cutoff is wobbling, and then I've got this other track where it's just playing held out notes. And so they kind of work together. So let's take a look at the settings for this one here. So again, this is that same bass patch, but I don't have any of that filter cutoff modulation with the LFOs. But what I do have happening is a little bit of glide. So when I play the notes, that it's slowly pitching down. And so what I did is I set this in this pitcher row here to +4 semitones. So that means it's going to start up 4 semitones higher than the note I'm playing, and then it's going to pitch down to the actual note that I'm playing over the course of 650 milliseconds. That's what this glide parameter is here. And the other thing that's happening here is you can hear this sound that there's a little bit more of that phasing to it. That's because I have this random setting engaged. So basically it's adding random detuning or random offsets in the tuning by ±7 cents. And because I have this in unison mode, and for each note I'm playing 4 voices, when I have this random detuning as well, it's just you imagine this sound, a bunch of copies on top of each other, all sort of phasing against each other, and you can hear that. It's has a laser gun kind of sound, I guess, or reminds me of lasers, I think. So those two parts together, and I'll throw in this sine double. So there we go. That's sort of a wobbly bass sound and pitching down bass sound, all using the starting from the patch that you can download from nextstepaudio.com.